Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my driving experience from start to finish. If you guys are interested in that type of video, then keep on watching. I noticed lately it's like a trend going on YouTube, going around, so I'm really looking forward to informing you all. So if you're interested, then let's keep on going. Let's get right on into the video. So guys, when I was 16 years old, I applied for my theory test. Oh, I'm getting so confused right now. Oh my god, it seems so long ago. So I applied for my theory test, and at the time, like, I had road rage. Like, I was young and I was just full of life, to be honest. Like, I was a way different person than I was back then than I am now. Obviously I'm a mother now, and I'm matured a lot, thank God. But yeah, I was 16 years old and I was mad to drive. Back then I decided to apply to sit my theory test, which when I got my date out, my dad brought me in that day and it was a total disaster. But leading up to the theory test, I remember I found it really difficult to learn, because back then, like, I don't know, I was just I was left school at the time, because I left school when I was 16. And I was just in third year, and I wasn't the smartest person, if you get me. So I really found it difficult studying, and I tried, but I wasn't putting in enough effort. Back then I would study the book, so I would study the book for the theory test, which I really found difficult, if I'm honest. So if you guys are studying the book, let me know how you're getting on down below. I'd love to hear. For me, that really didn't work out as to plan, because I just couldn't get it into my head. So I kind of moved on to the laptop, the disc, the theory test disc, which I found so much better. I just found like it helped majorly, and as well as that, like, when you go for the real theory test, it's very, very similar. So that really like helped me big much. So getting back, my dad brought me in that day to sit my theory test. My day, I got everything. I thought I had everything. So I went in anyways, and I done my theory test in Ennis. Well, I was about to do it in Ennis. So the day that I went in, the lady that you have to give the paperwork to said to me, "Have you got this type of identification?" And that day I didn't have it, and I was actually like really upset about it at the time. But now thinking back, I'm like, thank God I didn't go, because the learning process just went out the window at the time, and I would not have passed it for debt or glory. Like, not for the life of me would I have passed my theory test at 16 if that woman had let me do it. So it was a sign. Everything happened for a reason from there onwards, because I just would have failed now. I wouldn't have known anything. Like, I would have gotten every question wrong. So I'm really happy that I didn't sit it. So about a year later, I decided to return. So I was about 17 at this stage, and like, when you're 17 in Ireland, you can drive. So I was like totally like ready for this. I was like, you know, I need this provisional. I have all my documents this time. I'm gonna do it. So I applied for it at 17 years old, and I remember leading up to the test, I was really determined, like, to get this shit done. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put in all my time and my effort, and I'm gonna stick with the computer, because that's what worked best for me. So I used to be up in my bedroom, and I'd put in the disc into the laptop. I've been doing it for a good while now. I do it every single day. And a bit of advice, even if it's for like 10 minutes, just to get like one lesson and one little test in, that will get you places, legit. So I decided that whatever I would get wrong while doing the disc, that I would write it down. So I have a pen and paper. So I had a little copybook, and I had a pen. And whatever I got wrong, I'd write it out. And literally, guys, I would write it out 5 times till like I got it planted into my head. That's the best thing that you could ever do. Like, learning in any, like, if you're learning anything, like, just if you're having difficulty, write it down. It will get you places. You'll know it. Like, you might think that you won't, but if you keep writing it down, the next time that comes to you, you're gonna be like, it will come back. Trust me on it. So I went when I was 17, and guys, like, I think you have to get 35 in Ireland to pass out of, is it 40? Not too sure. And I went in that day, I had all the documentation, and I was in this little van. So you're in like a van. Where I was in Ennis, I was in a van, and there's a few other people like around. It's really weird, like a van. But yeah, it's the theory test van where you set it, and there was a lady there at the main desk. So I got down to it, I began to do my theory test, and guys, I was in there about 5 minutes and I was back out of it. Like, the questions were so easy because I learned that much and I wrote down whatever I got wrong. I flew through it. I was amazed. I was so shocked, and I was delighted with myself. I was just 17 years of age and I was beaming. I was full of life. I passed my theory test. And not only that, I got 39 out of 40, so I just got one wrong. One wrong. I thought I'd be getting the whole lot wrong, if I'm honest. Like, obviously I thought that I would, you know, learn, like, get a good bit, but I didn't think, you know, I'd just get one away from the 40. So I got 39 out of 40. I did think I'd get a few wrong, if you get me. So I applied for my provisional license, and back when I applied for my provisional license, things wasn't as bad as they are now. If you don't know, guys, if you're starting to drive or whatever, and if you're listening to me jabbing on about my experience, nowadays you can't drive a car whatsoever. Like, it used to be the motorway, but now my daughter's in the room also. Now you can't drive at all without a full drive license driver, and they also have to have a minimum of like 2 years. So they have to, like, being a full driver, they have to hold their full license for 2 years. So that is like, that's bad shit. Like, cause back when I was doing it, like, obviously it wasn't as bad. Like, back when I done my provisional, I had my provisional for God knows how long. I did, like, the past year gone, I did have to put my mom in the car with me. Things kind of took a turn from there on. But now it's like, oh, is it even worth driving at times? But I'm past that stage. But I think for new, like, drivers, it's going to be really difficult, and I would recommend, I did the opposite. I would recommend when you start off driving, when you get your provisional, don't drive with the provisional, because it's not even worth talking about, because you're gonna, like, you need someone in with you constantly now that has the full license for 2 years, as I said already, and it's not worth getting penalty points on your license. Like, it's really not. So getting back to about me, so yeah, when I was 17, I passed my provisional. It's so weird saying provisional now, because I'll tell you in a minute. So I passed my provisional, I applied for the license straight away, and when I applied for my license, it was out within 10 working days, which was really fast. Like, I didn't think I'd get it that soon, but saying that, I wasn't driving. So I just want to tell you what happened. Couldn't get insured, so I was here, a 17-year-old teenager, with road rage, mad to take off, have a car. A car was never the problem, because, like, my dad, like, he comes across cars all the time, and he kind of buys and sell cars, so he kind of will put me down the right track for, like, a small engine car or whatever. So it was the insurance that was the problem. I could not get insured. No, I couldn't get insured anywhere. It was such a struggle. So I held my provisional license for about 2 years, and I was just like, I was eating myself. I was so upset about it, because everyone else was driving and I had a license. I had a license before all these people, and I wasn't driving because I couldn't get insured. Obviously I could have gotten insured, but the money was like sky high and I didn't have the funds. I did not have it at the time. So, and I was really young as well. Like, I didn't have a job or not like none of that. So I think I was nearly 19. I'm not too sure now with, like, the time frame, but I think I wasn't 18, because I remember having my provisionals for a good 2 years. But I think I was nearly 19 when one day my dad said to me that he's going to buy me a car and he's going to buy me my insurance. So he's going to pay for my insurance and he's going to buy me a car. So I was like, I was over the moon, to be honest. I was the happiest girl. Like, I think what happened was I had my license and my family just pitied me, and I had no job and I was young. So I started driving, I think, when I was 19, and I had everything going for me then. Like, I had an insurance company that was really affordable. I think at the time when I was 19 with a provisional, I was paying €150 a month. I had monthly installments, obviously, because he was going to have full whack up front. I didn't. But yeah, my dad paid for my deposit, so there was like a big installment. There was a big enough installment. I think it was like €600, and then he paid for my car as well. So I had that covered, and then it was up to me to pay $150. Sorry guys, I had to stop the camera there because I heard noises and I felt like they were coming out from my hallway, and I was like, who are these people? But anyhow, yeah, my installments a month at the age of 19 with a provisional was €150 a month, and that was with a box in my car. But then my car, like, I was with them for a good year, and the company was Boximo, and they are still available for you guys that are looking for an insurance company that are quite affordable, which they were at the time, like 150. That's cheaper than what I'm paying now. So I was with them for a year, and then my car ran out of NCT, and after, obviously I was putting it through again. But let me tell you what happened. My car needed NCT and I hadn't it booked in, but I was going through my renewal, and at the time they asked me like a load of questions on the phone for the renewal. They were like, does your car have valid NCT? And me, like the idiot that I am, I said no. So from there on, I wasn't exactly kicked off the company, like I'm sure they would have had me on it, but you have to, like, a car is not roadworthy without NCT. So I didn't respond because they wanted proof within a certain amount of days. So I just left the company my own self before they kicked me off it, or postponed my insurance until the car was tested. So I left it. To be honest, at the time, like, I don't know why I left them. I kind of regret it in the long run. But yeah, my car then was fucked. My car gave me trouble, sorry for the bad language. So I kind of gave up driving for a little while, and then I got a different car. So when I got a different car, I started, oh yeah, also my dad learned me how to drive. I'm leaving a bit, like a good bit out. My dad did learn me how to drive, and I was driving like in my first car with a provisional license, and I was never bothered by a guard. Like, there was no guards bothering me, and my mother was always in with me as well. So I got a different car anyhow, and then I started to take my lessons because I had the provisional for a good enough while, and I wanted, like, I was aiming for the full license. So I decided I would take some lessons, and my driving instructor was really good. Like, he got me where I am today, so I'm really proud of that, and he's a good driving instructor. Everyone goes to him. I'm not going to mention his name because, you know, why should I? But yeah, it's private. So yeah, thankfully to him, I'm so grateful. I did pass my driving test a little while after, but let me tell you what happened the first time round. After my lessons, even though I knew to drive, my driving instructor made me a better driver, obviously, more cautious on the road, more safe and everything. My dad learned me to drive, but it's bad habits, isn't it? Let the truth be known, it is bad habits. So I decided I would apply. And now I have my 12 lessons done. I'm going to book in a few lessons and I'm going to apply for my full test. I got my date back, and it was really difficult, to be honest, because I'm a girl with bad anxiety, and like every day is a struggle literally at times with me, and I find it so difficult most when somebody's staring at me. So that was my downfall. When I was in the driving instructor's car, obviously he has to watch every move I'm making, so I really did freak out. And I was like, everything that he said to me, like, take this turn, that turn, I was like, yeah, I was shitting bricks, like, at the time. So I failed because I hit the curb, but you know, I learned, I got over it. But then afterwards I got pregnant with my beautiful daughter that's also in the room. So I kind of gave up with the whole driving full test shit. I was over. I was like, you know what, I'm just not able. I never want to go through that again. I got a major and I failed because I hit a curb, but I would have passed in only for that. So my hopes went out the window. I didn't care about driving. I just said my provisional will do the job. So then I had my daughter and I love her to pieces, like, literally. But I went a bit lazy. I let myself go for a while, and that's what happens when you become a mother. But I decided about 7 months ago, guys, to book my full test. I was living at home at the time, and I'm really glad I did book it at home, because if I booked it now, like, I wouldn't have passed it. Definitely not, like, well, money wise and everything. So I was living at home when I passed it, when I booked it, sorry. And this time round, even though, like, I had it booked, there was a backlog. So that was like a massive barrier in the way once again with me with passing my full driving test. So it had been 5 months, and you know what, I just said fuck it. But I kind of didn't want to get pulled by the guards either, because not too long ago the rule has come out. You need a full driver in with you, like I mentioned at the start of the video, full time now. So my mother-in-law passed her full driving test, and this literally was less than a month before I went for mine. But at the time I heard nothing back from the driving, whatever it's called. So I said, you know what, I'm going to email them. And I emailed them one day and I said to them, I'm waiting 5 months for a day. I still haven't received one. What's the story? I need one because of what's come out. All this shit has come out about needing a full licensed driver in with you at all times. And like, I'm living here and I definitely need a full license because I drive to my family every weekend, which is a good hour's drive away. So I was eager. I was really eager. Within an hour, guys, I got an email back saying that my full test was booked for the following month on the 28th, I think, of February. So that's the date I sat at, guys. But at the same time, I was very nervous because this time round, doing my full test, I'm away from family. I have like no support hardly where I am. And I wouldn't be sitting my full test where I live. And also, I'm a mother now. Like, my time is on her and it's on her constantly, so I barely get like time to go to the toilet. Like, if I go to the toilet, she's with me. So the whole learning process would have been the hardest part, and especially like going out driving myself. So let's talk about the learning. I got some time in. I thought it would be hard, I did, but to be honest, guys, like, it was so funny because I'd be learning and I give her like a pen and a piece of paper and she'd be there like writing things out as well. So I found that really cute, and she kind of like, she knew like that I was writing. She kind of, I know it's stupid of me saying, but she knew, like, she'd leave me alone. She wouldn't like grab the pen out of my hand or the book or anything like that. So that's what I'm trying to say basically. So the process of the learning was good. It was really good, to be honest. Obviously I could have done a lot better, but guys, I had to be cooking, cleaning, and my eyeballs to be hanging out of my head half the time. So I got a good enough bit in. Put it this way, I would have gotten like a lot more learning in the last time round, but I'm not gonna complain. So I done my learning anyways, and I had 3 lessons booked in with the same driving instructor. And I had a lesson like a week before it, and then 2 weeks before it. Sorry, I'm going backwards. And then I had a lesson for the morning of the test. So this was such a struggle because I find it really difficult getting into my car and going into another car. Like, getting out of my car and going into another car, because you're used to your car, and then the driving instructor's car is brand new, so obviously everything is up to date in it. And it's just completely different. But that was my struggle overall. So I had my first lesson, everything went grand. With the car, I mean, like, I was well able to drive it. And I got out of the car and asked my driving instructor, what do you think? And he said that I could have done better basically, and I just left it be. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to leave it. It's my first lesson back with him after about 2 years, so I'm just going to leave it slide and I'm going to do better next week. So I would leave from where I am living and go back to my family's hometown. I always go back every week mostly anyways, so I would go back just to have a lesson because I wouldn't have one here. So the second week came and I had another lesson. I was so nervous because I felt like this week it's getting closer to the test and I have to prove to the driving instructor that I'm giving it my all and that I am determined to pass. So I got out of the driving instructor's car after the lesson and I said to him, I wanted a straight out answer. I said, look, say Daniel for example, do you think that I'm going to pass my driving test? And he said to me, from today's lesson, no. Well, if he did, I just lost all hope. Like, I said to my family, like, you know what, I'm going to cancel this. Like, I'm just not able right now. Like, my driving instructor told me that I'm going to fail, so what's the purpose? What's the point of doing that? So I said to myself, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it off. But the voices around me, the people, my family that I love, told me, they pushed me forward. They told me to do it, that I'll fly through it, everything will be grand. you're going to get better, obviously. And in between like these 3 lessons with the driving instructor, I was going out in my own car as well. So the thing that I was learning most with the driving side of things was the reverse around the corner. I said curb because I hit the curb first time round, but that was what I was so eager to overcome and get. So I was flying through the curb. Anytime I go out in my car or the driving instructors, I would get it. Like, I would get it. So I was happy. Like, I thought I was getting places. So I changed my mind, obviously, when my family were like, you know, so supportive about it. They were like, go for it, like, things will be different, you'll pass it, you'll fly through it, Nicky, shut up, just do it. So I had one more lesson, and this lesson was the 28th of February at 9 o'clock, and it was my last lesson ever with a driving instructor. So I had to give it my all. Guys, I remember that morning, I know I'm going on as if it wasn't nerve-wracking, but trust me, my anxiety took over my whole entire body. I said to my mother, I'd rather be in labour than go through this, than feel this, because this is outrageous. I can't take it anymore. I just felt like my stomach was in knots, and I was just like, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't function. I just felt like, oh my God. So before the driving test, I heard that a banana and 2 paracetamols help. Go for it. I did. I passed. I found that out online and I passed. So you can do the same thing if you're looking for advice. So I had my full test then after my lesson. And after the lesson, like, I didn't ask him. I didn't want to hear any shit. Like, I didn't want to hear, you're going to fail it today. Like, because that would have made me worse. That would have put me back an awful lot. So I had my full driving test at 10:05 on the 28th of February. Same driving instructor. Yeah, we'll just leave that there. I was lucky I passed, because I thought I was failing. Like, I really did. There was moments in that car where I felt like, fuck, I'm gone. And they don't tell you then till you're back out of the car, till you're at the test centre. So it was really difficult. The morning of the test, when I was doing my driving lesson, there was 3 questions that I didn't know, that I didn't learn. So my driving instructor, Daniel, was it Daniel? I don't know, told me them, luckily, and I planted them in my head and I knew them. So the driving instructor for the real deal thing asked me the same things, and I was like, oh my God, thank God Daniel told me these questions, because I would have been fucked otherwise. I still think I done better like 2 years ago when I went for my full test, even though I failed. But I wouldn't have failed only if I hit a curb around the reverse around the corner. So I done the reverse around the corner. I was up in heat throughout the whole. She's noising like no tomorrow with a big basket full of makeup. She wouldn't be here otherwise. So I had my full driving test that morning, and I thought I was going to fail. I got to reverse around the corner. I knew I was getting places when I got past that, because that's what I failed last time. And the rest is grand. Like, all you have to do, guys, listen, I'm the most nerve-wracking person ever. As long as you get into the car and own it and literally drive like, so I was feeling like the queen. So here I am now. I passed my test that day, thankfully. I went into, they don't tell you till you went to the office. So once you go back from, you know, driving, they take you out for about 45 minutes, and yeah, they will ask you every single thing. So he told me mainly that I got more so wrong the learning side of the test, but he said I passed by the skin of my teeth. So I am very lucky, but I'm not going to complain, because I did pass my full driving test, and it's been the biggest achievement out of all. Like, I am so happy, and I'm so proud of myself as well for like passing it and achieving this, going for it, and just taking it all on board. And it wasn't easy, because I live away from home as well, and I'd have to travel and study, and this time around I am a mother. So that is my whole driving experience, guys. If I left anything out, this video is going on so long. So yeah, I'm going to stop jabbing on from here. I hope you all enjoyed my whole driving experience. Let me know how you got on with your driving experience, whether you passed your test whenever you passed it, and tell me what you thought of it. Was it hard? Was it easy? Let me know, because I found it really difficult anyways, but I got there in the end, and I'm super proud. So yeah, guys, hit this video with a massive thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're new and you haven't already. I'd love to have you on my channel. Till next time, bye guys.